I have a lot of fans out there, huh? Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of Bishop Duane and Father Vidal, our pastor, it is my pleasure to welcome all of you here to Ave Maria, Florida, for this Respect Life Amendment 4 rally for life and family. I am blessed to be surrounded by an amazing team of volunteers and an amazing panel of speakers right behind me. And we are blessed to have each of you here as part of God's plan to stand up in support of the issues of life, from conception to natural death. As individuals, we may ask, what can one person do in this fight for life? We cannot do it alone, but together we can do much. Together we can continue to stand up for the lives of the unborn. Together we can surely make a difference in this world, and in this state especially this coming November. Let's allow God to work within us and through us, giving us the strength and the hope and the belief that we can defeat this amendment, this very extreme deceptive amendment. Today, as you experience this day, take a pause and remember to be open to God's will. We are the army of pro-lifers, and we must stand up, united in faith and determination to win this battle. I encourage all of you to never give up this fight. We are the warriors for the babies, the moms, the fathers, and we are the warriors for God. I have a tremendous amount of hope that we will defeat this amendment on November 5th. God already knows what's going to happen, doesn't he? But let's continue to storm heaven with our prayers daily for the sake of our babies and our moms and our dads and this amazing state of Florida. Let's pray to God that we can be a beacon of hope for all the other states in this great nation. Our defeat of Amendment 4 will bring hope to other states that they too can deal with this fight, they can win this fight. Do not be afraid. That's in the Bible 365 times, if anybody didn't know that, one for every day. Folks, now is the time. God has put us here for this fight. And in closing, I want to share a quote that I've been sharing with my team since we started this journey. It's by William Wilberforce. It says, "Let it not be said that I was silent when they needed me." And over the past 6 months, I've changed that to say, let it not be said that we were silent when they needed us. Thank you.
Folks, a lot of us know Sharon as one of the realtors in town here working with One Group MVP, but I tell you what, I've been able to experience Sharon these last couple of weeks and the leader that she is. She's a William Wallace behind this rally here, and she has been working tirelessly, not just her, but with the team. So thank you very much, Sharon. Let's give her a round of applause. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the stage Coach Patterson. Coach Patterson is the Vice President and Director of Athletics here at Ave Maria University. He's also the head football coach. He's got a few remarks before we enter our program. Coach.
On behalf of Ave Maria University, I welcome you to campus in support of defeating Amendment 4. You'll hear some great testimonies today, but I'm going to use my 2 minutes to talk about what I see as a foundational issue. Obviously, abortion is about the mother, and obviously abortion is about the child, but abortion too is about the father. The desire for a permissive abortion policy would disappear if men, universally, promoted and pursued a culture of moral sexual behavior. I'm speaking to all men. For sure, we must always support pregnant women, both before and after their child's birth. But we must also promote that moral sexual behavior. Do what you can to treat women as children of God, to be cherished and loved. Commit always to calling your fellow men to a higher standard, a standard that reserves the marital act to marriage. It's not a popular marriage, but it's not a popular message, but it's a necessary one. Christ is clear about a lot of things, and he's certainly clear about that. So as men, we need to man up and be men. At this point, I'll turn it back over to Matt. But again, I want to welcome everyone to Ave Maria University. We are grateful to be a part of this important initiative to defeat Amendment 4. God bless you all.
Thank you, Coach. So welcome, bienvenidos. We'll have a portion of our program here today that will be bilingual here for all of our Spanish-speaking audience as well. But folks, we all know why we're here. We all know why we're here. We're not here to support any particular political candidate. We're here, and I want to actually pull the words that were given to us by Bishop Dwayne in one of his recent emails that went out to us. We are here because it is critically important to remember that shaping the moral character of society is a responsibility of people of faith. It's a basic part of the mission we have received from Christ. In this case, when confronted with such a clear threat to human life and dignity, the church must not be silent and simply cannot remain on the sidelines. We must vote no on Amendment 4. I imagine that each of us here is aligned on the morality of the issue at stake with Amendment 4. I imagine there's not a lot of opposing opinions here in this room, but we know beyond these walls we'll find it. But arguably one that we won't find, arguably one that we'll find unity on, is a desire for unity in our nation. You listen to both sides of the aisle, you'll hear a call for unity. And I can't help but think the words of Christ on the night of his passion, praying to his Father that we might be one as he and the Heavenly Father are one. So I want to highlight another part of this amendment that perhaps all of us might be able to get behind, even beyond this room. It's how this amendment, particularly the wording of this legislation, creates a foundation of disunity. Folks, words become flesh. Words become flesh. Anti-word becomes flesh. When we sow seeds of confusion into our legal system, confusion creates disunity. And if you read into this, and we're going to have presenters, speakers talking about the proverbial word salad that this amendment is, all the undefined terms that are in it, folks, it creates a foundation for disunity. When we don't know what we're voting yes to or no to, it creates disunity, and somebody has to deal with that confusion. And the confusion doesn't come back to us, the voters. It doesn't come back to the legislation process. It goes to the courts. And folks, when we have poorly written legislation, it goes to the courts to decide. And at that point, it creates further contention. This is just lazy legislation here, folks. We deserve better. I would rather it have been written saying exactly what it wants. It wants abortion on demand. At any point, abortion on demand. I wish it would just come out and say that, so that at least we'd have clarity of where the lines are drawn, but it sows confusion. And folks, if we look at the advertisement budget behind both of these campaigns, for and against Amendment 4, it's a David and Goliath situation. The money that's been put behind this campaign to have abortion on demand in the state of Florida, it's nuts. Anybody that's watched YouTube for 5 seconds has tripped on these ads. And you know what, folks? These ads are effective. They're effective. I'm guessing that we're all decided here how we're going to vote in this room. But there are people that are sitting on the fence. There are people that just don't pay attention. There are people that just like voting yes for things. And they have no idea what they're doing. And that's who these ads are targeting here, folks. So we need to be a counter ad. We need to have a voice. If this is going to be a David and Goliath, we need to respond the way that David responded. What did he do? He prayed. He went to the waters. He went to the waters of the Holy Spirit. Folks, he prayed. We need to be praying here. Absolutely. But those prayers must become incarnate in us. They must become an active, living word. They must become light in the darkness. And folks, David did not leave the stream empty-handed. He was armed with the stones of truth. So folks, here today, the mission here for us as we go forth from here is twofold. We pray and we gather 5 stones. And 5 stones here, folks, are votes. We bring 5. Bring 5 to the polls. Gather 5. Educate 5. Talk to 5. Every single one of you. Think of who those people are right now and pray that the Lord puts them in your path, because he will. You say it with me, folks. Pray and bring 5. What are we going to do? Pray, bring 5. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Thank you, folks. We'll be returning to that quiz throughout the day here. What I'd like to do, thank you. I'd like to invite forward now our other shepherd, Bishop Dwayne. Bishop Dwayne serves as a spiritual leader for approximately 250,000 Catholics in the 10-county diocese of Venice in Florida. He was appointed by Pope Benedict XVI in 2006 as a second bishop of the diocese. What I really admire about Bishop Dwayne is the way that he's rallied around with the other bishops of Florida to really be a voice speaking out against this when there's such a temptation to be silent. Bishop Dwayne.
Allow me to begin by thanking all of you for being here today, and particularly to thanking the organizers of this event who stepped forward in what could be termed a kind of hostile environment out there right now in this amendment. But it's a pleasure to be at the university. They're taking the role that they have on this issue. So thank you all. They deserve a round of applause as well as all of you. I think we're all very familiar, if I could put it that way, with this amendment and the misleading language and the dangers not only to full-term babies, but also to mothers and girls that this amendment represents. It's my hope that as a result of being here, if you've had any doubt in your mind, so that you can go out and invite those other 5, that you will erase that by the end of this today and be able to vote no and invite others to come along with you. I also want us to keep in mind, so often I get hit with the thing, the church is always so negative on everything. You know, and you can imagine my feeling when they say that and they've read the amendment. But to keep in mind that no is not always a negative, not at all. And I think particularly in this case, the unequivocal no in November is what we need. It's not only a positive by saying no in this case, but it's positively crucial and even life-saving. Plan to do something positive, all of you, I beg you, by saying yes to life regarding this amendment and no to the amendment in November, to Amendment 4. Why no? What's wrong with this? The title, Amendment to Limit Government Interference with Abortion. This amendment would embed within the Constitution of Florida unregulated abortion, establishing an unlimited right to abortion here in the state, making Florida one of the most pro-abortion states in the nation. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be any part of something like that. So we have to stand up, we have to speak out. Amendment 4 would allow for second and third term abortions, a stark contrast to the present Florida law, which allows abortion up to the heartbeat, till the heartbeat can be detected at about 6 weeks. Although in a perfect world, there would be no abortion. It would be unthinkable. We're not there yet. We live in a sinful world, and it is certainly preferable to have some limits on abortion as we have now than to have it wide open, receiving of abortions to be legal. The amendment presently allows for abortion for any reason, including consideration for, quote, patient's health. It's been pointed out that some of the terminology is very dangerous in this amendment, and it is. Patient's health is undefined in the amendment. Currently, Florida law includes an exception for when the pregnant woman's life is in danger, among many other exceptions. Further, Amendment 4 puts not only babies, but women and girls at risk. The amendment weakens the current medical doctor requirement, allowing, quote, healthcare providers, not just physicians, to determine if an abortion is necessary to protect the mother's health. This is a danger, clearly, for all women. The amendment also eliminates currently required parental consent for a minor to have an abortion, preserving only parental notification. And it doesn't say that's before or after. It's simply notification. This is reckless and truly destructive for girls and for the families of all. In short, Amendment 4 goes dangerously beyond even what is permitted by Roe versus Wade. It is extreme and it is unnecessary in the state of Florida. There is simply no need to expand an already expansive abortion law within Florida. Spoken of early somewhat about, particularly, I can't tell you how many letters I've received about why is the church involved in politics? You should lose your tax status. That's usually the ending line. It's true that the church would not recommend vote for this candidate, vote for that candidate by name. But as noted earlier, and what Matt read out, when it comes to moral responsibility, every one of us as Catholic have a responsibility given to us by Jesus Christ. Not by the Pope, not by your bishop, not by your pastor, Christ himself within Scripture, that we are to go out and speak the good news, speak the value of life. You and I have that responsibility. No one can limit, nor should they try, nor should we allow anyone to cap us on this issue and say that we can't speak about it. So don't remain on the sidelines on this issue. Find those 5 friends Matt spoke of. I even challenge you to go to 10 if you need to. Find them. Explain to them the difficulty with this legislation. Let them hear your love of life. Let them know, every woman you speak to on this, your respect for them. And all of us for our families, when a minor can just walk in and receive an abortion. The long-term difficulty that this sets up, particularly for women and girls going forward in their lives, it's immeasurable. We must speak up, we must speak out. God bless you all once again for being here and for going out and voting no on Amendment 4. Thank you very much.
Bishop Duane, thank you for being a shepherd who smells like a sheep and being on the front lines with us. That's a term of endearment here, all right? Meant to be here. Our next presenter, I had the joy of getting to speak with her backstage here. Her name is Logan Church. Learned that Logan Church is getting ready to get married here pretty soon. So a round of applause for Logan. A little bit about Logan. She's working right now with Catholic Vote. For over 9 years, Logan Church has been an emerging leader in the campaign world. Having worked on over a dozen campaigns in 6 states, Logan dedicated her career to electing quality candidates to public office. Now Logan continues that dedicated work here at Catholic Vote. Folks, Logan is going to be traveling to 4 states this week. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Logan Church.
Oh boy, this is tall. Even in heels, I'm not tall enough. Hi guys, like you said, my name is Logan Church. That's church like Sunday, so it's super easy to remember. I'm gonna lose the opportunity to use that line here in a few months, so I'm using it as much as I can. So first off, I want to say thank you all for being here. You're going to hear a lot about Amendment 4 today. And if I had to go out on a limb here, I would say most of you in this room already know a lot about Amendment 4, and you understand why this is such a big deal. So I want to take time to say thank you. Thank you for being a part of this fight. Thank you for standing alongside of us on the front lines. It is an honor and a privilege to be able to be on this battlefield with each and every one of you. Like he said, I've worked with candidates for years, and when I started with Catholic Vote, Brian Birch asked me, why do you want to be with Catholic Vote? I said, because I want to be on the front lines of the fight when Roe versus Wade is overturned. A few months later, it was overturned, and little did I know it was going to happen a lot faster than I thought. But if there's one thing that I learned in politics, it's that elections are not won by politicos sitting around a table strategizing about the best ads on TV. They're won because of people like you. People like you who put in your time, your treasure, your talent. I know you guys are familiar with that. You put that into campaigns. And when you're putting that into something like Amendment 4, how can we lose? Because each of you are not only going to take the time to vote no, you're going to make sure your family and your friends vote no, but more than that, you're going to continue securing a culture of life here in Florida. And that goes way farther than Election Day. That's, like the bishop said, that's securing, making sure that women and children and individuals know how much we love them and how wonderful life is. This is not about winning an election. This is about winning a culture back. So thank you for being a part of that fight. I look forward to celebrating with each of you in spirit on Election Day, because we will be defeating Amendment 4. God bless.
All right, quiz time, folks. What's our mission? I'm sorry. The bishop just multiplied it. All right, spiritual multiplication here. Pray, bring 10. Pray, bring 10. Pray. Woo! Okay. Folks, our next speaker here is State Representative Lauren Mello. Lauren is a dedicated conservative Republican passionate about protecting our Second Amendment rights, honoring our veterans, reducing bureaucratic hurdles, and fostering economic growth. Raised in Southwest Florida, she's a proud mother of 3 and has been an active community member here for years. A successful businesswoman as well, Lauren founded her own trucking company in 1991, growing it from a single truck to a fleet of over 100. And remarkably, she still has her commercial driver's license. Showed up today, driving the truck, in fact. No, not really. But she still has that original truck here as well. And currently, she runs a thriving real estate brokerage, navigating challenges along the way. A 1.5-year battle with breast cancer. Also supporting her son overseas in Afghanistan. And having my own mother, who fought the fight with breast cancer and dealt with a son being overseas in Afghanistan. That is a real cross. As state representative for Florida's House District 82, which includes Hendry County and parts of Collier, Lauren advocates for her constituents on key issues, ensuring their voices are heard and represented. Ladies and gentlemen, State Representative Lauren Mello.
I too am vertically challenged. Wow, good afternoon, Ave Maria. So great to be here. Thank you all for the warm welcome. It is truly an honor. I have to tell you, if there's any group that I know I can get a little bit of grace from, it's this group. And Wednesday, I woke up with a fever. I'm not contagious. No one, this is how you get everybody out of the room really quickly, right? But I have a sinus infection, so I'm over-medicated, and I feel somewhat like a bobblehead right now. So if you will all just please allow me some grace today, that would be amazing. In opening, being pro-life is about saving lives of the soon-to-be born children. Protecting human life is a moral issue. It really seems like this concept should not be partisan or divisive at all, but somehow it is. In fact, unfortunately, it tends to be one of the most polarizing issues that our nation faces today. I'm not sure how many of you actually have an opportunity to ever travel to Tallahassee. And I know that you're all very well versed in Amendment 4. And what I thought would be important for me to stand up and talk to you about today is what happens in Tallahassee and just how important policy and the legislature works together to make sure that we provide good policy that can stand up in the court system. In this past session, I had the opportunity and was proud to vote in favor of what we called the Heartbeat Protection Act. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that act, but it was produced within the Capitol and by attorneys. It was well vetted. We knew that it would stand up in the court systems if it was challenged. And I would like to just give you a few highlights of what that bill actually did. It prohibited physicians from performing abortions on the unborn baby after 6 weeks of gestation, instead of the 15 weeks that we had previously passed in 2023. It also prohibited using taxpayer dollars for traveling to get an abortion in another state. The majority of the US abortions now involve pills, and it is alarming to recognize that had it not been for this act, it is possible that most abortions would have been provided without the woman ever even being in the same room as her doctor. The vast majority, 93%, of abortions take place during the first trimester of pregnancy. And the act was especially aimed to stop later term abortions in order to protect the babies who already had a chance to develop, have a heartbeat, and could feel pain. And still, somehow, this issue of protecting human life ends up being extremely volatile, often resulting in violence. So again, if you don't travel to Tallahassee, I'm about to walk you through what, as a legislature and my colleagues, what we went through during this time of trying to pass this very important act that protected unborn babies. During this past year, we had to install bulletproof glass in our gallery, our house gallery. Typically, we all sit on the floor, and all of our visitors get to sit up in the gallery. And this is where you all get to come, and I get to recognize you, and I get to announce to all my colleagues and the Sunshine Channel, you get to stand up and have recognition for traveling great distances to come up and be involved in policy. We now have to have bulletproof glass. It's incredible. These protests get so out of hand that they often resulted in arrests, the representatives being escorted from the floor or our committee by armed guards back to our offices. And it even tends to be dangerous for us to leave the building. The night that we voted in 2023 to reduce it to 15 weeks, we did not leave the Capitol until 1 a.m. Most of us rent, and we had to walk at 1 a.m. with hostile protesters outside of the Capitol. It's very frightening. I've received hundreds of aggressive and threatening letters and phone calls because of the positions that I've taken on issues like abortion. And there were situations when I did not feel even remotely safe inside the Capitol due to the many antagonistic opponents who were not afraid to show their hostility. The world has gotten to a point when we cannot have a civil disagreement. It is incredible to think that a human life issue, such as abortion, can make someone act violently. I'm speaking to you out of frustration. When I sit and I listen to my colleagues who ask that we support a ceasefire in Israel, and they say it's because of the babies and the killing of the babies. But then in the next breath, they vote against the Heartbeat Protection Act. And they are the people that are behind vote no or vote yes on 4. They protect animals. We currently, if you destroy a bald eagle egg or a turtle egg, it is punishable by a fine of thousands of dollars and 1 year of imprisonment. It is insane to think that animal embryos get more protection than human babies. I believe that 2 years ago, the highest court of the United States overturned its decision in Roe versus Wade. I agree with the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs versus Jackson, Women's Health Organization. The issue of abortion was rightfully sent back to the people and the states, exactly where it has always belonged. This is how state legislators like myself have the ability to make more thorough abortion-related laws, exactly what our constituents, you are all my constituent if you live in Ave Maria, have sent me to Tallahassee for. The state legislator bills and constitutional amendment proposals are drafted in Tallahassee and reviewed by state attorneys. These attorneys ensure that each bill is clear enough and unlikely to lead to litigation. So the state's legislature, constitutional amendment proposals and bills have something that the proposed Amendment 4 clearly lacks, which is definitions, as we've all heard today. Proposed Amendment 4 suspiciously leaves all definitions out and never once mentions the word doctor. This amendment has gone out of its way to be obscure and ambiguous. In the end, the cost of litigating of this amendment will be taxpayer funded. In closing, I ask that you all vote no on 4. And today, I stand before you grateful that when my mom, who was a Catholic, learned that she was pregnant with me, she didn't believe in choice. Thank you, and God bless you all.
These undefined terms, folks, they just breed confusion. John Paul II says that for there to be real unity, the foundation of a loving union are 2 or more people willing of their own free will a common good. Our laws are meant to be a common good that's understandable, that we can collectively will freely together. But when it's peppered with these undefined terms, we could be behind the same written law, but thinking something completely different. Lord Jesus, please speak your word into our legislation so that we can come together and have words that actually support our common good. Folks, we're going to invite the Guerra family back up again. And as you prepare here shortly to go out on your mission, which is to louder. Beautiful. I invite you to invite the Lord to put those people, put those 10 in your hearts and to begin your mission right now.
I hear them say our country's far too gone, even claim our fathers got it wrong. But I won't give up on us, and I'll take a stand, 'cause we can overcome. This is not the end. I still believe in us, oh America, you're still the land I love, though a little bruised up. Stars and stripes still cry liberty, over evil, over tyranny. Blood poured out for our freedom, we sacrificed it all for this nation. I still believe in us, my America. Our history is full of bravery. Heroes fought for our equality. Now is the time to make peace and forgive our faults. Because united we stand, or divided we will fall. I still believe in us, oh America, you're still the land I love, though a little bruised up. Stars and stripes still cry liberty, over evil, over tyranny. Blood poured out for our freedom, sacrificed it all for this nation. I still believe in us.
You're still the land I love, though a little bruised up. Folks, our next speaker, Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart, he's currently fulfilling his 11th term in the U.S. House of Representatives, serving Florida's 26th congressional district. He's a senior member of the House Committee on Appropriations, and he is the chairman of the State Foreign Operations and Related Programs Subcommittee, in addition to serving on the Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development and Defense subcommittees. That's a lot of stuff. Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart is also elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 2002, making him the dean of the Florida delegation and deputy whip in Congress. Prior to his time in Congress, Diaz-Balart served in the Florida State Legislature in both the House and Senate chambers. He chaired several committees, including the Combined Appropriations, Ways and Means, Finance, and Tax Committee. Diaz-Balart was born here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and he currently resides in Miami, Florida, with his wife, Tia, and son, Christian Rafael. Also of note, you may remember nothing about Congressman Balart of what I just said, but I want you to remember this. He serves a district that is 36% Republican. He is advised not to speak on this issue. And he's here. He's here. So Congressman Balart, thank you for leading from the front. Yes, thank you. Thank you for leading from the front and being a courageous leader.
How you doing, Ave Maria? Let me, before I will be relatively brief, but before, I want to thank some people, and I know Michael Caputo has heard me do this a million times, so I'm not going to apologize to him because he's dealt with me over the years. But first, I am in awe of the folks that are here, obviously the Bishop, Father, Representative Mello, Mr. President, thank you for your leadership. My dear friend, Representative Mello, up here also a personal friend who is now one of my heroes, who you'll hear from him in a little while, Manolo Milanes, who put his life on the line to save a family right here in Ave Maria who was about to get murdered. And Logan, congratulations, but thank you for all the work that you do. All of you here, thank you. You know, I always do this. I always start by thanking, it doesn't matter if I'm in a large group or in a small group. Some of you have heard me before. I always start by thanking a group of people who are not here. They're a group of folks who are never in the celebrations. They're never in the fun things. They're never in the gatherings. And I will do it. So, you know, who's leading us here today, as you know very well, and emceeing is also a former captain in the U.S. Marine Corps. Oh, yeah. So through you, Captain, and actually I think, if I'm not wrong, if my eyes don't deceive me, is that Chris Payne up there? Oh, Captain, Colonel, retired Colonel Chris Payne. So allow me to do what I always do. I always start by thanking those folks who are never able to come to these things, but we should always remember to thank the men and women who volunteer to keep us safe and to keep us free, the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Let's thank them first. Please. Yes. And in Florida, particularly in Ave Maria, but not only in Ave Maria, in the free state of Florida, you know, we revere our police and our first responders. Can we also give them a round of applause? Thank you. Thank you. There's some of you here. You're also going to hear from a person that I have great admiration for. Eduardo Verastegui is a very well-known actor. Yeah, I know. I'm between you and him, right? This is not good for me. You're going to hear from him, and he's a person who's obviously, just a phenomenally talented actor. But on top of that, a man who lives his faith and lives his principles. And I don't have to tell you, imagine what that has cost him. But here he is today. Thank you. Thank you. You heard about, right? It is this huge battle against all the money in the world versus those of us that want to protect innocent life. This is not that complicated, right? And then you see the ads. Have you all seen the ads? They're just all these things that are being said that are not true. They try to paint those of us that believe in the simple concept of protecting innocent life as being radical. Radicals? Because we support protecting innocent life? No, you know what's radical? Radical is saying that you can take the life of an innocent child to the moment of birth. And they call us radicals? No. Radical is saying that parents should have no say in their child's decision if they're going to do something so dramatic as this. And by the way, in the ads, they say, no, they're not changing the law. Well, if they weren't changing the law, why are they trying to do a constitutional amendment, right? I mean, come on, we're not that stupid here in the state of Florida. But think about it. Think about it. A minor, they say, that's what the Constitution would do, that can go have an abortion and without authorization of the parents. You can't get a tattoo in this state without getting authorization of the parents. And yet, we are the radicals? No. I am so proud of standing up for innocent life. I am so proud of our legislature that has done an amazing job in protecting innocent life. I am so proud of all of you here in Ave Maria who are not confused, and you're going to continue to pray and get 20. Get 20, right? Yes or no? Yes or no? And just remember this, when you see those ads and you see the funding behind it, yeah, they want this state to be the state where the abortion industry reigns, where it is an industry now, an industry of taking innocent life to the moment of birth. That's what this amendment would do. And just remember this, the reason they're doing it via constitutional amendment, you know why that is? It's because they know